All right, welcome back. All right, so in this module, we're going to learn about the various shapes, icons, and lines commonly used while value stream mapping. And by the end of this module, you'll have been introduced to material flow, information flow, and general value stream mapping shapes and icons. Now, it should be noted that while we've used computer-generated icons in this course, we highly recommend initially drawing value stream maps with pencil and paper. And once you and your team are happy with what you've drawn on paper, you may then decide to use electronic software to document your results. All right, so let's begin by discussing some of the most common shapes, icons, and lines we'll be using to signify the movement or flow of material within the value stream. First, we draw outside sources like our customers and suppliers as a box with a sawtooth-looking top. Now, for each step in our process, such as painting or assembly, we use this box-looking symbol. And we also note the key parameters of that process, such as the cycle time, defect rates, and uptime, under the process box as shown here. Now, whenever there's inventory queued up before or after a process step, we signify it with this yellow triangle. We also note how much inventory we actually counted as shown in this example, and we normally draw that underneath the box. As we've shown here, they're counted 56 pieces of inventory at this process step. Now, in traditional mass production systems, materials often push from one process to the next. We note this with a dashed arrow that looks like this. Many times, this dashed arrow lies behind the yellow inventory symbol, which basically says we're pushing inventory from one process to another, which is actually a very unlean activity. Conversely, whenever material is pulled to the value stream, which is far superior to pushing, we use this symbol. In some cases, we may need to control the amount of inventory in our value stream with a first in, first out, or FIFO lane. When this is the case, we use this symbol. Next, whenever goods are moved with a truck, we use something that looks sort of like this. Now, I'll be the first to admit that my hand-drawn trucks don't look quite as nice as this. Also, if goods are moved by airplane or boat, you can draw a picture of them as well. Now, in some lean systems, we use what's called a supermarket to hold a strategic amount of inventory. Finally, whenever finished goods are transferred from an outside source, like a supplier shipping goods to our warehouse, we use this open style arrow. Okay, well, as we discussed in the VSM overview, one of the key differences between VSMs and traditional process maps is that both material and information flow are studied. So let's get familiar with the most common information flow shapes and diagrams. First, anytime there's electronic information passed around, such as email, we draw this lightning bolt looking line. Many times we'll also draw a small box like this in the line explaining how frequently this communication occurs. Now, the opposite of electronic information is manual information flow. This is a type of information that's passed from person to person. And we draw this type of communication with a standard arrow. Again, we'll often note the frequency of this communication that takes place with the schedule box placed right on the line. Now, one of the topics that we'll learn a lot more about later is level loading, or Heijunka. When we implement Heijunka, we note it on our VSMs with this rectangle with the little X's and O's inside of it. Another topic we'll dig into later is Kanban. A Kanban post, which is drawn like a goal post, is a place Kanban cards are collected and later taken to some type of production control center. All right, there are three main types of Kanban that we'll be learning about in a later module. First, the withdrawal Kanban, which is simply a card that tells someone to withdraw goods, is drawn as a shaded rectangle with a corner missing. Next, in some cases, we'll use Kanban cards to signal more of a batch production run. This is common for shared equipment with really short cycle times. Finally, the partner to the withdrawal Kanban is a production Kanban. This card provides a signal for production to start. It looks like the withdrawal Kanban, except there's no shading inside of it. All right, well, now that we've covered the most common material and information flow icons, let's finish up with some general icons. Whenever we want to note an operator, we use this circular looking symbol. In cases where more than one operator is working in an area, we simply write the number of people underneath it. If we need to draw a work cell, we use a symbol that looks something like this. Next, anytime we identify an opportunity for Kaizen, we draw this little starburst looking symbol right on the value stream map. In other words, if we're dealing with long changeovers on a particular process, we would note it by placing this starburst over the top of that actual process box and possibly writing SMED Kaizen in it. Finally, in some situations, it may make sense to hold a small amount of buffer or safety stock. Buffer stock is used to guard against demand swings, and safety stock is used to guard against things like scrap and operational issues. All right, well, initially it's easy to feel a little overwhelmed by all the unique shapes and icons used to draw value stream maps. And I hate to break it to you, but these are only the most common ones. There's many more icons that you can use. But rest assured, after completing this course and a little practice on your own Gemba, you'll become a pro at this. And to help you through the initial learning curve, we provided a free VSM Shapes and Icons handout you can download and take with you to your Gemba. Okay, well, now that we've been introduced to the most common VSM shapes and icons, we're almost ready to draw our current state value stream map. But before then, we need to cover one of the most fundamental principles of lean manufacturing, and this principle is tack time. So we'll speak to you soon.